Protesters marching right through downtown Louisville tonight after a rally first on the steps of Metro Hall, standing for the immigrant community, calling for the end of the war in Gaza, and opposing President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown and his latest moves, sending Marines and more National Guard troops to Los Angeles. It is our top story with team coverage for you tonight on the WHAS11 night team. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt. A very large but sizable, peaceful crowd and rally, and then march through the core of downtown Louisville. The protests happening alongside huge marches in Los Angeles. And late news, the president sending an additional 2,000 National Guard troops and now 700 Marines to L.A., even suggesting California Governor Gavin Newsom should be arrested.
I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent.
Here again in Louisville tonight, the scene after 7 o'clock, the protesting here staying peaceful. Metro Police telling WHAS11 News tonight there were no problems. We have two reports. Ian Hardwitt covering the march, but first, WHAS11 night team's Jose Alonso and photojournalist Emma Gafter take us to the call of action on the steps of Metro Hall.
The rally on the steps of Metro Hall.
Whose world is this? This world is ours.
One of the leaders, Metro Council member J.P. Lininger.
Peace and blessings be with you all in these times.
Their message of solidarity, stopping the raids of ICE. But Monday's gatherings were sparked by the protests in Los Angeles.
Donald Trump is sending in unnecessary aid that the governor of California did not ask for. And we are here to protect the immigrants of Louisville.
Multiple signs displayed their distaste for ICE and support for immigrants who can't speak out themselves.
We see you. You are a human being who deserves dignity and respect. And we want to be a nation that gives you that.
Organizers of this peaceful protest also claim that 200 workers at GE Appliance Park in Louisville have been handed deportation notices. We reached out to the company on this allegation, and they responded saying, quote, "The U.S. Department of Homeland Security's decision to end the CHNV parole program impacts a number of our team members. In order to comply with the order, these individuals must provide valid work authorization in order to continue employment with GE Appliances." GE also saying ICE has not entered Appliance Park.
When working people are under attack, what do we do?
The protests in LA also sparked outcry from the local labor union of SEIU 32BJ.
We had David Huerta get arrested while he was peacefully protesting in Los Angeles. Pepper sprayed, tear gassed, sent to the hospital, and still in detention today. He leads a union of nearly 750,000 workers in California. And like I said, he's been a defender not just of immigrant rights, but of all rights, all workers' rights.
No justice, no peace, no ICE or police.
No justice, no peace.
From LA to Kentucky, Louisvillians are making it known they see injustice.
No justice, no peace.
In downtown Louisville, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 night team on your side.
More of our team coverage for you tonight. Tonight, that same group, about 200 people, marched a mile and a half around the seat of local and federal government in downtown Louisville tonight. Louisville Metro Police again report no problems with the protesters despite some intersections being blocked for a moment. Tracking the protest steps for the WHAS11 night team, our Ian Hardwitt reports.
Anti-ICE protesters marched down 6th Street. The beat of their drums, a cacophony of causes. Chants criticizing the Israeli Defense Force. This march, a crossover between branches of Black Lives Matter and Students for Justice in Palestine here in Louisville.
Overthrow capitalism, socialism in our lifetime.
Socialist revolution!
Stickers went up, anti-Trump and anti-Democrat. Marching past the federal courthouse, an overturned American flag in the crowd. They passed the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office. Tonight, LMPD says there were no issues in this mile-and-a-half loop as the military drops in 2,000 miles away in Los Angeles. For the WHAS11 night team, Ian Hardwitt on your side.
And now we pick up our coverage in Los Angeles and the massive protests. Tonight, California's governor sending 800 more state and local officers to L.A. President Donald Trump mobilizing 2,000 more national troops and sending in 700 U.S. Marines.
The people that are causing the problem are professional agitators, they're insurrectionists, they're bad people, they should be in jail.
California Governor Gavin Newsom saying local law enforcement didn't request help and didn't need it. It's the first time in 60 years that a president has deployed the National Guard in defiance of a governor. More troops are expected in the next 24 hours. Here's ABC's Melissa Adan on the scene in downtown Los Angeles.
As day turns to night, tensions remain on the streets of Los Angeles. For the last 72 hours, parts of the city have descended into chaos. Protesters setting cars on fire, throwing rocks at vehicles, even dumping bikes and scooters at police cruisers on the highway. Dozens arrested. The California National Guard and other law enforcement are stacked up against a federal building. That's where they have a standoff, essentially, with protesters that have flooded the streets here in downtown Los Angeles. We're seeing different crowds coming out, some of them out here with flags, with bandanas covering their faces as these protests look to continue through the night. The Defense Department confirming 700 Marines are on their way to assist the National Guard and help law enforcement tamp down the clashes. The protesters angry over the Trump administration's immigration policies and arrest.
The people that are causing the problem are professional agitators, they're insurrectionists, they're bad people, they should be in jail.
President Trump deploying members of the California National Guard, bypassing California Governor Gavin Newsom, the first time a president has done so in 60 years. Governor Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass criticizing the president's decision and condemning the violence.
This has some lawmakers questioning Trump's use of power. A president hasn't bypassed a governor's call for National Guard since the Civil Rights Movement in 1965. President Lyndon Johnson called National Guardsmen in then to protect civil rights protesters in Alabama as they prepared to march from Selma to Montgomery when Governor George Wallace opposed the march. Newsom today announcing the state is suing the administration.
Going to stand up for our rights. We're going to stand up for our freedoms. We're going to stand up for the rule of law. We're going to defend our democracy. We're going to defend the Constitution.
Newsom adding that the order the president signed will allow him to go into any state and do the very same thing. Right now, we want to get a quick update on our amazing, cool evening ahead. Before we get to some other big stories for you tonight at 11, Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell is here with me. And Mallory, how long do we get this low humidity? It's fantastic out there.
A couple of days. You definitely want to take advantage of it because, as we know, it's going to go right back up, unfortunately, by the end of the week. But as you mentioned, out there this evening, really, really comfortable. Clouds continuing to clear here. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s to right around 70 degrees in Louisville. And yes, those dew points will continue to drop into tomorrow as well. Max HG radar, it was a rainier start to the day. That continued to into the early to mid-afternoon. But all that rain pushed off to our east this afternoon and evening. Clouds have continued to decrease as well. So we are looking at mostly clear skies tonight. And that will allow those temperatures to continue to bottom out into the upper 50s and lower 60s by early tomorrow morning. Just keep in mind with clearing clouds, temperatures dropping down near the dew points and those winds decreasing, some patchy fog is possible for your Tuesday morning, especially for our Kentucky counties. Otherwise, tomorrow expect sunshine to return. High temperatures very comfortable for this time of year, upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. The one catch is, in addition to the sunshine returning, we also have some of that Canadian wildfire smoky haze returning to the forecast as well. We'll talk much more about that and take a full look at our 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Mallory, thank you. Brand new information coming in from Metro Police today. They're revealing that a Louisville Metro Police officer was arrested back on Wednesday, June 4th in Hardin County for DUI, even though he blew below the legal limit. According to arrest citations, Officer Ken Florence was driving his motorcycle off duty there in Hardin County. A Kentucky State Police trooper noticed his registration was expired and pulled him over. The trooper reports that he smelled alcohol on the officer's breath. He was given field sobriety tests but refused to take a breathalyzer. The trooper did arrest him and took him to Radcliffe Police Department, where he blew a .77 just below the .077, just below the legal limit. LMPD says they have started an internal investigation. Now to stunning news coming out about UK football tonight. A new national report sending shockwaves to football fans across the Commonwealth. Kentucky's very popular assistant head coach with the fans and good friend of head coach Mark Stoops, Vince Marrow, is reportedly on the way to becoming a Cardinal. ESPN is reporting Merrill will move to U of L in a new position. He's been in Lexington for the last 12 years as one of UK's top recruiters. And our sports reporter, Sarandon Raboyne, has been breaking all this down for us tonight, joining us with a look at this developing story. And you know, Sarandon, Merrill was actually known for his strong recruiting when he would come to Louisville here, pluck players out of Louisville to go to Kentucky. What's this new position at U of L?
So it looks like it's being reported that he is going to be moving into a general manager role. That's according to ESPN's Pete Thamel. And that's a position where he would oversee recruiting, roster management, and the transfer portal. So something that's kind of getting more and more important as we move into the college football season. And that's a position that's also being created across college football. Big names with NFL connections are moving to become GMs with colleges, including Andrew Luck at Stanford and Ron Rivera at Cal. Merrill was UK's NFL liaison, and that fits well with this reported job description. When it comes to Merrill's contract, he signed a contract extension in 2024. That was good through 2026. It paid him $1.3 million a year. He does have $200,000 buyout clause if he goes to be an assistant coach somewhere else, but it's unclear if this reported GM role would trigger that clause. And it shouldn't be lost, like you said, that Merrill is a very close friend to head coach Mark Stoops, and that relationship has been going on for 12 years. And I had asked Merrill earlier this year, back in December, I guess not this year, last year, if he was going to stay in Lexington, and he told me that he was going to be there for the time being, but obviously times can change, and we'll see as this report becomes more official in the next few weeks what happens there.
Of course, it's all changed now for Rick Pitino, but we've seen what happens when a Kentucky person goes to Louisville.
Yeah.
They aren't forgiven for many years.
Not necessarily.
The controversy heats up before even the first game's played. All right, thank you, Sarandon.